Good morning to you and welcome back to Practical Stoicism. Thank you so much for being here. Before we start, I would like to remind you again that if you hate ads and you'd like to get rid of them, you can do so by becoming a subscriber to the premium version of this podcast for just $6 a month. For more information on that, head over to stoicism.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes. You can also go to stoicismpod.com and click the button in the top right corner of the site. If supporting a podcast with money isn't your style, no big deal. That's cool. It takes all kinds. You can still support Practical Stoicism by reviewing it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or Podchaser.com, or by sharing it with friends and family you think will enjoy it. Today we're covering Meditation 5 from Book 2, which reads as follows. If our intellectual part is common, and the reason in respect of which we are rational beings is also common, if this is so, common also is the reason which commands us what to do and what not to do. If this is so, there is a common law. Also, if this is so, we are fellow citizens. And if this is so, we are members of some political community. If this is so, the world, in a manner, is a state. For of what other common political community will anyone say that the whole human race are members? And from thence, from this common political community, comes also our very intellectual faculty and reasoning faculty and our capacity for law. Or whence do they come? For as my earthly part is a portion given to me from certain earth, and that which is watery from another element, and that which is hot and fiery from some peculiar source, for nothing comes out of that which is nothing, as nothing also returns to non-existence. So also the intellectual part comes from some source. It's odd that I love this particular meditation so much because it is, in a significant way, very theological in its reasoning, and I'm an atheist. I mean, Marcus says here that nothing can come from nothing, which is a common argument for the existence of God, which we atheists often respond to with, well, certainly something can come from nothing because you theists say God came from nothing. So if that's true, why couldn't the universe have come from nothing? The origins of existence are truly unsolvable, and I think that's what makes talking about them kind of fun. But what Marcus does in this meditation is so deeply meaningful that it's hard for it not to be one of my favorites. If all humans have intellect, and if all humans have reason, and if all humans can use reason, and if all humans are citizens of the same earth, and if that makes us part of the same political family, in that we all have a stake in the outcome of politics and of Earth, then aren't we all brothers and sisters, both metaphorically and literally? It's a very kumbaya moment, right? And Marcus is, to a large degree, correct. As a way of highlighting the literal trueness of this, did you know that scientists have found in the Rift Valley of Africa a male and female whose genes have been passed to every human currently alive on Earth? That's not made up, that's real. The human species was spawned from one man and one woman, and the scientists call that man the Y chromosome Adam, which is somewhat ironic because Adam and Eve, it's probably why they did it. In fact, I'm sure that's why they did it. And a woman who, again, kind of ironically, the scientists call Eve. Isn't it kind of crazy that every religion, every pagan belief system, every organized or non-organized concept of the beginning of man assumes that we all, ultimately, come from two people? Or maybe it's not insane. Maybe it's just obvious. Marcus certainly speaks as if it is. So we are all related, not metaphorically, but literally. We are all brothers and sisters. We are a family. That's something, right? And how does it change the way that we, as Stoics, think about our actions? Remember that Stoicism is not all wisdom and bravery, that it is also temperance and justice, and that no Stoic has ever suggested we be unkind to one another. Indeed, as Marcus says in Book 2, Meditation 1, and as I quote many times, we are meant to work together, like the rows of teeth, upper and lower. To oppose one another is unnatural, and to think poorly of one another is to oppose one another. So is it a tad too kumbaya? Sure, maybe. But that doesn't dismiss the point, which is we're not separate, we're together, and all good Stoics should operate with this in mind. When you stop listening today, I want you to consider what this means to you, what impact it has on you, and how thinking about it shifts the way you view others. Is it harder to reduce your brother or sister to a stereotype than it is to do the same to a total stranger? If so, perhaps keeping this in mind all the time, as Marcus would want us to, is one of the most impactful things Stoicism has to teach us. Thank you for listening to this episode of Practical Stoicism. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something from it, consider leaving a review of this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or Podchaser.com. Again, if you'd like to get rid of ads and if you'd like to support the show, you can become a premium subscriber by going to stoicism.supercast.com, and any support you can give, I would greatly appreciate. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care.